let's start in the beginning. Take me back to the idea, the concept, when you set out and said, I want to do this. Like when the idea first came into your head. What do you remember about that day?
What I remember about that day, I don't remember the day. I just remember the idea. I think it was something that has been circling in my head for years. One of the things I used to love to do after a long day of stressful work, I used to go to the driving range that was out here in Canandaigua and just go there for half an hour, just hit golf balls. Didn't care where they were. I'm not a very good golfer. I love to play, but I'm not very good. I'm probably a better scramble guy than anything else. But I used to go there, just take out some frustration, just kind of relax, do that kind of thing for half an hour. And then that ended up closing down. And for years, I drove past that constantly. It's just an empty, open, vacant grass. It's been on sale for years, And I was just like, there'd be a wonderful place to put a multiplex, a golf range, putt, go-karts, batting cages, all that family recreational complex would go great there. Because I think it's something that Canandaigua would benefit from, especially with us being right on the, obviously with the lake and everything. That idea came up. And then years later, we started going to Lake George as a family vacation, and they do something very, very similar there. They do a very good job of their main street right on Lake George, having it as family attractions. They've got the haunted houses, they've got escape rooms, they've got little a little carnival area, video game area, that kind of stuff. And, that kind of re-brought it into my head from my subconscious of, hey, this would be a great thing to do. Again, at that size, that magnitude, that was, my eyes were financially bigger than my stomach. So I'm like, okay, what can we do that would be smaller? And then I started thinking, from a sports perspective, my family does a lot of sports. We do, a lot of volleyball, basketball, soccer, baseball. So I'm like, okay, what can we do there, but still incorporate having ability for families to come in and spend some time, get some exercise, do some fun stuff, not be kind of tethered to electronics, video games or anything like that. And that's kind of how the idea was born.
So then when we started to get into the actual, it's happening, it's coming to fruition, you're gearing up for opening. What was that whole process like as that idea started to really come to life and then doors are opening?
Yeah, it was scary. Trying to work through and actually put it through fruition and actually go through all the process to get all the pieces needed. Obviously finding the space and then finding the batting cages, the turf, everything that kind of goes along with it. It was exciting and scary at the same time because I'm like, yeah, this is a great dream of mine. But, reality always kind of checks me in and is like, okay, well, I think it's great. And my family thinks it's great. Some friends thinks it's great, but what does the community as a whole would like to think of it? And then we had our opening day and we had, a ton of people came in. To kind of try things out and just kind of see the space. And, there was a lot of positive feedback. So that was really satisfying to kind of say like, yes, this is a need that other people have saw as well. And we've had plenty of people come in and say, this is wonderful. This is something that we can bring our kids to. It's something else, something different to provide, especially during, the winter months. Even I can't even say winter. Technically, even today, these days like today where it's rainy and 55 degrees outside, it's still something that the kids and families can do together.
I wanted to ask that, like, what was the reception? Because now it's been a bunch of months. You guys have been, you're established. You've been through a winter and the longest, coldest spring in upstate New York history. What has been the reception from the community, especially as you guys have been adding bits and pieces here more and more in terms of what you're offering?
Yeah, it's been great as we go through. And I'll say we're established, but I feel like there's still more out there because we still have people that come in and they're like, oh, we didn't know how long you've been around. We didn't know you existed. But it's typically the same type of statement. They'll say that phrase and then they're like, oh, we love this idea. We love it. But, through the winter months, it's been great having people come in, especially kind of the local teams and the local organizations. We partnered with Castle, which is the Canandaigua Area Soccer League. They had a lot of their team practices with us as well. We've had baseball travel teams kind of come in, do the same thing. So it's been great. And then we've had just kind of the families coming in, either individual kids working on their craft or just families coming in because they just wanted something fun to do. Recently we just had someone come in, it was her birthday, and I guess every year they try and find batting cages because that's something she's super passionate about. And she thought this year was going to be a year they weren't going to find one, and then they found us. So they came in and they had a blast an hour as a family, just having fun hitting baseballs and softballs off the machine. So the community reach has been great.
That's awesome. So let's get into the offerings. So we'll call it June 1st. What are you guys offering in terms of service today?
I mean, as of right now, it's kind of we're highlighting our batting cages because those are the big ones. A lot of the other sports, the soccer and lacrosse, they're outside. Even on rough weather days like today, they're still out there. That's part of the charm of those type of sports, right? So we're highlighting more of our baseball type of options to do batting cages. Hit stuff off of there. We have our hit track system, which allows either just to get the metrics of how fast things are coming in, how hard they're getting hit off the bat, or to actually play games. You can do a family of four can do 2-on-2 and settle who gets to choose dinner for the night by who scores the most runs. So there's those options as well. And then obviously we have kind of our short cages. They have the ability you can do cornhole or gaga ball or dodgeball or any of those kind of yard games that you can play outside, but typically not everyone has that equipment to be able to do that. Plus, again, with the weather as it is, it's nice to have a indoor facility to be able to kind of do all of that.
Yeah, I'm curious, what's the split look like for you guys in a normal week? Like that recreation versus young student athletes who are trying to get better and maybe get tuned up for an upcoming season, or maybe just working on it during the off season?
Right now, it's probably an 80-20 split of young athletes working, and then 20% of families just coming in and having fun. So, and that's kind of what I expected. And then I'm hoping as more, I guess we can call that the 20% also birthday parties. That's another one, obviously, because that's something we offer. That's been great to have birthday parties. The families have come in, and I've had fantastic families coming in with birthday parties, and every kid has left not wanting to leave because they want to still hang out and play on the turf for play kickball or fantasy or flag football or dodgeball or anything like that. So it's still probably an 80-20 split of people coming in because they want to train or they want to specifically do certain things. They want to hit baseballs or hit softballs versus families coming in and just kind of picking, choosing what they want to do.
When you think about the rise and the desire of more third places, those places where families can go hang out, go kill a couple hours, spend some time with each other, how important is a place like Practice Time Sport to be a place like that for Canandaigua residents and, frankly, people who live in Ontario County as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful thing. I think that having that place nowadays, there's not a lot. When I grew up, there was a lot of sandlot baseball. There was a lot of pickup basketball. There was a lot of pickup football, where it wasn't organized. It was just a bunch of kids that, okay, at 4 o'clock on Saturday, we're going to all go to such and such park and we're going to play. That doesn't really happen as much anymore. Again, the rise of technology has had something to do with that. But I think also from a family perspective, what can we do to get, my kids especially, they're on their PS5s or their phones or something like that. And sometimes we're like, what do we want to do? And, there's been times even, a couple of years ago, we had a weekend. I'm like, okay, it's a nice day outside. What can we do that's not technology based? And we decided to go play pickleball. And that was something that would kind of recharge the entire family because all of a sudden now we're playing together as a family competitively, sort of, because that's how all of us are built. But it was fun after that hour and a half of exhausting pickleball. Even my kids were like, this was really fun. And now, now the kids will come in and they'll go play pickleball in the back, or we'll go throw the football around because they have a place to do it even when the weather's not great. But I think it's a great place. Bowling's another one as well. The difference with bowling is you're kind of confined a little bit to a certain space. This gives you a little more option to really run around, especially the younger kids. Sometimes they just want to run and tumble and just do all that stuff. And we give an opportunity for them to do that. And I think that helps the family unit as a whole because they're still spending time together, but they're kind of enjoying each other's company or playing or being competitive because, again, kids always want to be parents and parents always want to to show that, we still have it as adults, as parents, that we can still do these things as well.
Is there also a need for an outlet where kids can just sort of go do something active, maybe play a sport, but not necessarily be in that mode of, I'm sure plenty of parents and maybe even kids who are listening or watching right now can relate to just playing one sport year round, being on that travel team, having 4 or 5 practices in a 2-week span and games on top of that. How important is it to have that outlet where it isn't necessarily as structured and, it's just an opportunity for kids to be kids and have fun?
Yeah, I think that's huge. The year-round travel or most year-round travel sports, regardless of what sport it is, it can be tough. We want to provide a space that kids can come in and have that ability to just play. Kids don't realize that they'll end up learning more by just playing without structure, without rules, and they'll learn the game, whatever game that it is. A kid that's never really played soccer can come run, get some energy out, and we want to provide that ability for them. And they're not thinking about, okay, am I kicking correctly? They're just out there having fun, and it gives them less pressure because, especially if it's not a sport that they're doing that travel for, it's an off sport. It gives them a little more, hopefully, freedom to feel comfortable to fail, feel comfortable to just have fun and just be a kid without that. Okay, I have to train today. I have to do any of that stuff because, again, kids should be kids. They become adults soon enough, and then as an adult we have responsibilities, we have jobs, we have stuff that we don't really want to do all the time, but we have to. We're only
Yeah.
kids for a certain number of years, and we're adults for the rest of our lives. And sometimes kid, as a kid myself, when I was younger, I used to tell my mom, I can't wait to be an adult to have these things. And she's like, don't wish for that, because once you get there, you can never go back. You can never go back to being a carefree 10, 11-year-old, just playing, having fun. And when I coach my kids, I tell them usually every year at the start of the season, I would give anything to go back to where you guys are at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, and now just play sports for fun, play on travel teams, play on house teams, just go play sandlot, pick up basketball or anything like that. But I'm an adult now. I'm old. I have responsibilities. My days are done. But just to get them to realize that they're young, they're supposed to have fun and just kind of try everything, fail at stuff, succeed at stuff, realize that I didn't realize I would like this. And that's part of the reason why we're here as well, is to give those kids an outlet to do that.
And speaking of fun, summer camps. Give us the 411 on what you guys have going on with summer camps this year. Obviously, still time to sign up, but they're going to be starting here in what, about 3-4 weeks?
Yeah, it should be. So our first week would be the last week of June, going into that first week of July. And really, the summer camp, our goal is to provide a space for kids. We know not every parent is a teacher. Parents still have to, like myself, I have to work year round. So kids have to go somewhere, and our goal is to provide a safe space. And our niche is going to be, we want to teach kids different sports. Again, as kids grow, they should have an opportunity to learn or try out different things. Pick up a lacrosse stick if they've never done it before. Kick a soccer ball, try flag football. Obviously baseball there too as well. Something like a volleyball or a pickleball or a tennis. We want to provide that ability for kids to try new things so that when they get to, that 6th, 7th grade level where school sports officially start, they can go back and say, oh yeah, I tried volleyball that one summer, and I really liked it. That's something that I might be interested in to start playing. And then hopefully that'll bolster all the sports throughout the school, the schools, whether it's Canandaigua or Victor or Bloomfield or anyone else around us in Ontario County, to be able to get more participants so that they can actually, we're not stuck with just the major sports, whether it's baseball and basketball or football. There's a lot more sports out there, and we want to be able to provide kids the ability to try those out or have the kids learn something new. Our goal is every day as we're going to have like mini lessons as we go throughout the day, structured lessons of, okay, today is going to be a baseball day. We're going to show you how to field the ground ball. Or tomorrow there's going to be volleyball. We're going to show you how to properly bump a volleyball as it comes at you. So kids will learn something on there as they go through, and hopefully it pique their interest. And they'll say, so this is something I like. This is something I want to try. And hopefully they'll find a new sport, that either a new sport or kind of fall in love with their favorite sport as they go through, all within the structured area, during the summer.
And, I was just on the website the other day, and the ease at which you guys have made renting time, signing up for memberships, the whole online portal, signing up for things like summer camp, incredibly, incredibly easy. Talk to us about, why that's such an important part of what you guys have going on. Obviously, you want it to be easy for your potential customers to be jumping in and getting in there, but it is that easy, right? You just go to the website, you can book pretty much anything you want.
Yeah, pretty much. You go to the website. We even provided a account on our homepage. You scroll down. There's an upcoming schedule, so you can actually see what is actually being used that day or the next day. Really, the goal of mine was to provide potential customers the ability to see what would be available. Because again, everyone's life is busy, and if I know I have some free time between 4 and 6, and that's something I want to do, I can look ahead and say, oh, there is some stuff open, so that this way they're not just kind of hunting and pecking for a time based off there. If they have a time available that they know that they can utilize, I want to give them the ability to do that. And then obviously, yeah, just having the website there to be able to rent. Actually, it's more of a reservation to reserve the cages, because we really have you guys pay when they come in. But to reserve those cages ahead of time online with all the different options, whether it's yard game stuff like cornhole or gaga or dodgeball, or the pitching machine or the hit track system or anything like that, to be able to say, okay, today I want to work on my lacrosse skills. So I want to book the full cage with the lacrosse net, so that I can work on shooting today. Or the same thing with soccer. I want to do the soccer area. I want to get some cones out there so I can work on some agility or some footwork. Obviously, baseball, anything with a tee, or actual soft toss, softball, same type of thing. Or again, yard games. I got 6 friends. I got 5, 6, 7 friends. That what else are we gonna do? Let's go throw balls at each other. That'll be fun for an hour. We can crown a new champion or play teams that way. All of that stuff can be booked online ahead of time. Again, people can always call us. You can always welcome to walk in as well. As you walk in, you're just at the mercy of what's happening at that time. I could have during the weekend, sometimes it's birthday parties, sometimes teams book the entire facility, but having the reservation option is super helpful, because you can kind of see ahead of time and say, oh, there's a birthday party this Saturday from 1 to 3. So, okay, let's not do that, but from 3 to 4, it's open. So let's plan for that ahead of time.
Absolutely. And their website is practicetimesports.com. Chris, thanks so much for taking the time today.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Josh.